Hey, welcome back to the Simply Fitness Podcast. I'm John Stein. On this episode of the podcast, I got a chance to catch up with Jeff Pachtman. We just vibe and chat about a whole host of things about our transformation, progress, as well as cooking. But the main topic of today was how to make 2021 different than previous years. Hope you all enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed talking with Jeff. But I got cut out there. How's it going?
It's going good, man. How about yourself?
Not too bad. It's been a great day. So we're going good. Glad I got a chance to catch up with you here. And I know it's a little short notice here, but we got it working.
Yeah, you know what? I love last minute conversations, last minute plans. I'm a very off the top kind of person. I don't really like having things too rigid and planned. So I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah. It doesn't give you any time to worry or any time to, just do. Don't think, just do it.
Yeah, that's the motto. 2021, here we come.
Yeah, exactly, man. So awesome. Let's just kick it off right here. Tell everyone just a little bit about yourself, give a little, background about you and what exactly you're all about.
Yeah. Okay, cool. My name is Jeff Pachtman. I'm an online fat loss coach. I'm also a personal trainer working in person as well here in Bend, Oregon. And I became a trainer kind of as a backup plan. Like, it was never my primary plan to become a personal trainer. I was always interested in fitness. I was always interested in nutrition, but I was way more so always into the nutrition and the food side of things.
Yeah.
So growing up, I always had a very food focused family. Like, my mom's Italian, and
there you go.
we always cook these big meals. And so my life revolved around food, you know what I mean? From a young age. And it was also diet focused because my mom would make these big meals, these big crazy meals, and then she was always on Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that and watching her relationship with food, and then watching my dad's relationship with food. They kind of had a love-hate relationship with food. Like, they loved the food, but they hated the weight gain and how hard it was to lose weight and everything like that. So I grew up with that, and it made me very interested in nutrition and the psychology of nutrition and the psychology of diets and how it all works and why so many people fail. And anyways, I had a pretty crazy early 20s. I was into a lot of drugs, a lot of just doing bad, man. I was doing bad shit. I was living down in LA, and I remember I got my first job, and it was at Subway.
Yeah.
I became a sandwich artist. And there
you go.
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't mind it. And it got me into the whole food side of things, right? And I thought it was weird though, because most of that food is super processed.
Yeah.
Like you'd think it was chicken that you're eating, like a grilled chicken sandwich, but it's 80% soy and other fillers and chemicals and things like that. And it was really fucking weird, man. Can I curse on here?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. It was real. I'll try not to, because I'm trying not to on my own podcast.
Yeah.
So, but I then from there, I got really interested in cooking. So I became a line cook, and I started cooking at this golf club. And from there, I was addicted to drugs in my early 20s. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was straight up addicted to drugs, and my life got unmanageable. I went to jail, almost went to prison. A bunch of crazy shit happened, and I was looking at some prison time. And luckily, I had a good lawyer, and it was my first offense. And so I had a choice. It was either clean up or probably like jails, institutions, or death was probably like my other choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I decided to clean up and take like a second chance at life. And
Nice.
so I went back to school, and I was like, I'm going to become a dietitian because this is what I'm interested in. This is like, I love the nutrition aspect of things. I wasn't so much into fitness. Like I was kind of lifting, but I was more so just going to the gym and doing machines. And I really didn't know shit about like how to lose weight or get lean or any of that. I really just dove into like the nutrition, like the nutrients, the micronutrients, what foods had what nutrients, and like basically the really nerdy sciencey stuff of nutrition was what I was interested in. I didn't care about like weight loss or any of that. Right. Yeah. But when I got clean and I cleaned up my act, like I started to put on weight, and like, you know, you replace one addiction for another. So, you know, I was packing on some pounds, you know what I mean? And so my first couple years clean, I packed on some pounds, and I picked up some unhealthy habits, man. And I was going to school for nutrition, and then I learned that dietitians like are basically like the research that dietitians do and the research that they have to follow is mostly backed by like big food companies. Yeah. Like we're talking like it boils down to like Coca-Cola, Monsanto, like all these big companies that are funding the research for basically what says what we should follow in nutrition. They're all funded by these big companies. Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to get involved in that, man. I want to be able to do my own thing and give people good nutrition advice that's backed by real science, that's not like super biased by some big like super PAC, right? Yeah, agreed. So I stopped going to school. I got back into cooking again. I was like, I have this love-hate relationship with cooking in restaurants. Yeah. And so I was a chef for a while, and man, I got burnt out. I got burnt out because chefs work a lot of hours.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking like sometimes 80, 100 hours a week on my feet. Like,
no breaks.
Let's just say no breaks. I wasn't the happiest guy, man. I was like pretty like angry guy. Yeah. If you ever wonder why chefs are like total assholes, man, and that's why. That's why. And I really wasn't making good money. You know, I was making okay money, but I was on salary. So I was getting taken advantage of, you know? Yeah. And I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna start a chef page, right? And so I started on Instagram and YouTube. Yeah. And at the time I was working for a vegan restaurant. Okay. So I was like really, really inspired by these plant-based recipes. They were like, they were really interesting to me to like recreate plant-based versions of animal-based foods. It was like this weird food science, and I was super into it. Yeah. So I was working for this big restaurant, and I was like, I'm gonna try and go vegan, right? I'm gonna try it out, just because like all these people were trying to convince me to do it, and I was like, let's see if I can do like 30 days, right? Yeah. So I ended up doing that for about 2 years. Ended up going like fully plant-based. I won't say vegan because I wasn't really doing it for the animals. I was more so doing it just to see like if I had more energy, if I felt healthier, if it like what were the benefits? I wanted to see how I felt. Yeah. And I felt good, and I was really enjoying like cooking these recipes, and I like made a YouTube video, and I started up this Instagram page, and like it started taking off. Like YouTube videos was getting like decent views, and like I found a niche. Yeah. And like these vegan cooking pages weren't that popular at that time. So it was like, you know, this was like, you know, 5 or 6 years ago. And so like I got all these people following me, and then like eventually people were asking me for like custom nutrition plans and like all this, because I had lost quite a bit of weight just doing plant-based and exercising frequently. So people were asking me for nutrition plans, and I was like, I don't have any certifications. Like, I don't know if I can just give you a nutrition plan, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you know what? Let me hire a coach. Let me hire a coach first, and then see like how they do it with the certifications they have, and then I'll kind of pick their brains while they're coaching me. I'll pick their brains on like how they do it.
Yeah.
So I met this coach, and I'm not gonna bring his name up because I don't think he's a good dude. He's not really like, he's not ethical when it comes to his business practices. So probably not the right dude for me to like shout out, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel you.
We started working together, and the dude knew, like he knew how to get me results. You know what I mean? And but it was a very strict meal plan.
Oh, okay.
It was like vegan and keto.
Oh, sounds rough.
It was rough. And
that sounds very strict.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. And the guy had me fasting for like 48 hours a week.
Okay. Like straight?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's super strict then.
I know. And I was taking like electrolytes, pink Himalayan sea salt. I was like doing all the keto stuff. And then I had like, you know what a keto mojo is?
No.
It's basically like it's like a ketone tester. You like literally prick your finger.
Oh, okay. Then
and you put your blood on the strip, and then it like tells you how many ketones are in your bloodstream. Yeah. So I was doing that, and I was like, I got down to like 160 pounds, which like right now I feel like I'm at a healthy weight, and I'm like 183. So I mean, like totally lost all this muscle, and like dude, I look back.
How do you work out on a 48-hour fast? You don't.
Oh my!
How do you do anything?
I did it somehow. Yeah, I did it somehow. I remember like I took a lot of naps.
I'd imagine you were probably very sluggish. No carbs or anything? Oh man, that sounds rough.
No, so all the carbs that I got were from vegetables. So like I was eating 100 grams of carbs.
Oh really?
And yeah, which is interesting because people think keto 50 grams of carbs or less.
Yeah.
But this guy had like this theory that if you eat 100 grams all from vegetables, it doesn't affect your body. Yeah, it doesn't affect your body the same because you're eating all the fiber.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and he was right because
I don't disagree with that. That's a pretty sound thing.
And he was right because I tested my ketones and they were, so they were pretty sky high. Like they were above 1.0. Sometimes they're at like 3.0. So, I was definitely in ketosis. Like I definitely felt the cognitive benefits of ketosis.
Yeah.
A lot of mental clarity and, I think I was on like a high from it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, I get that. I do intermittent fasting. I think I thrive in the morning. I thrive like, 10, 12 hours into my fast. I'm like ready to go.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, I thrive in the morning. The morning's like my go-to.
That's funny because like now I do intermittent fasting and I just don't feel good. And it's and I don't know why, but like it might just be just like it's just not right for me right now at the time.
Yeah.
But like back then I was just like, man, like I found this holy grail. I thought I had like like we talk about, as coaches, like we talk about like the quick fix or the magic pill.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, oh, vegan keto, man. That's it.
Yeah, it's a magic pill. Magic pill.
Yeah. So, but literally I got down to 160 pounds. I was like emaciated, no muscle on my damn frame. I lost all my strength. And but I was like, I thought I looked good because I was super lean. I look
Yeah.
back now and I'm like, dude, I looked terrible.
Yeah.
Like I look so much healthier now that I have some meat on my frame, and I look way better now than I did back then. So that was kind of my first introduction to like a crash diet. And I feel like that whole experience going through being vegan, going through vegan keto, going through like working with a terrible coach who like put me through it, man. Like I felt like eventually I came out of that and my digestion was fucked up.
Yeah.
I felt like my hormones were messed up. My metabolism was messed up. Like everything was just messed up.
Yeah.
And so I started, I just went off the rails because it was so unsustainable that like rebounding off of that, I ended up just binging, man. And like I binged my way back up to like 185, 190. And like, I didn't look good, man. Most of it was fat. I no longer was on any sort of tracking program at all.
Yeah. It just spiked up. You went that V. You went down, but then you rebound right back up. That V curve.
Yeah. And we see that so much. That's why we always talk about the sustainable approach, right?
Oh yeah. 100%. I think we've all been there. I think I've talked to plenty of coaches on my podcast, and all have some experience just like yours where they did some type of crash diets. I know I've done things in the past that I would never even think about doing again, just because it doesn't work. You think it does and you hope it does, but it doesn't. Just doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I came out of that, and I wanted to get back in. Like I was coming out of a toxic relationship. I was going through a lot of different things, a job change, everything. I wanted to get out of the restaurant, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to become a coach. Cause now I have that experience of like, I know what it feels like to want that quick fix, that quick solution, and to do something really unsustainable and feel like you found the key, and then totally not be able to sustain it and binge and just totally feel like a failure on the back end.
Yeah.
So I knew what that felt like. And I felt like I could relate with clients on a deeper level than most coaches could, because, like you said, a lot of coaches have been through like that kind of stuff. And you're probably talking with coaches who can relate. But a lot of people who become personal trainers, they love fitness. They've been into this stuff their whole life. They never had a problem with their weight. A lot of these trainers are like, they're like that dude in like 6th grade who had a 6-pack, and you're like, you have one piece of cake and your ass jiggles for a week. Those are my genetics. Those are my genetics, dude. If I have a piece of cake, my ass jiggles for a week. Like those are my genetics. So, I had to do something to combat those genetics, and something sustainable, something moderate, something that I knew was going to, I'm in it for the long haul, right? So I wanted to start talking about that. And I started researching. I started really, really diving into like Jordan Side's content. I started really diving into a lot of like Mike Matthews, a lot of Lyle McDonald, a lot of these guys who promote flexible dieting. I really, really wanted to like incorporate that. I loved the idea that you can still eat the foods that you love in moderation. The 80-20 approach, 80% whole foods, 20% foods that you enjoy. I love that approach.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I started talking about that. And that's when like I really started attracting the clients that I knew were just like me, because they could relate with my story. I started telling my story on Instagram. I completely changed my page from a chef page to a coaching page, to an infographic page, to a help a helpful page, like give as much content and as much information as I could to find my ideal clients that I knew I could help.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at today, man. And
There you
it's
go.
been 2020 was the year of like straight consistency for me. Like I was so consistent with posting, and I was so consistent with showing up and just giving and not expecting anything in return. So like 2020 was a great year. I'm not saying it was great for everybody, but for me and my personal growth, like 2020 was it was dope. Like I had a lot of really awesome things happen, and I was more consistent than I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think 2020 was a great year. I think, a lot of crap has happened, a lot of terrible things, but a lot of great things too. I think I was just reading something that it was talking about how we always focus, our minds are made to like remember all the negative things. And that like, that's at the top of our mind for a survival instinct. That's our survival instinct to remember all those negative. But like, if you reflect back on the year, was it really all that bad? How many good things still happened this year? I know I can think of 10, 15 great things that happened to me over time. And I agree with you. I've been more consistent than ever over 2020, with my fitness, my business, just life in general. So I'm super stoked getting into 2021, hopefully continuing that growth pattern. I know you are too.
So did you I thought I saw you had kind of like a transformation for 2020 as well. So you had like a personal fitness transformation for yourself. So how did that happen?
Yeah, so like probably a little over a year ago, probably about like 16 months ago, I was probably at like the heaviest I've ever been. I was at like probably like 175. I felt like crap. My life, I was stressed, in grad school, just not, not being able to, I felt totally out of whack with, my fitness and my health in general. And I really looked back at, what I did previously, because I was like, okay, well, I've been there before. Obviously that didn't stick with me. So like, how can I change it this time? So I took a really, consistent approach, something that, that we preach all the time. I was like, okay, I'm not going to put a goal on this, and there's no timeline for this. I was just like, I'm going to track my calories. I'm going to get consistent with my fitness. So I created my own fitness plan and just stuck with it consistently. I saw and it took me over that 16 months to, lose 20 pounds, but I'm at the leanest I've ever been, physically, since probably the last 10 years. I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life right now. So that's all it comes down to for me. It was like, this was just putting into practice what I preached every day and just fitting in within my own life and, giving everyone like, hey, like I could do it. You can do it. We've all been there. Cause I felt like like the same thing with, that back, 5 years ago when I started here, I think a lot of people thought that I was that person who always was into fitness. I've always been into exercise, sports, and, I got into lifting, and I've always been a runner. So like, I've always been physically active, but that doesn't always mean that you always have, like, you go through these ebbs of flows of, sometimes you're in good shape and, sometimes life hits you in the, punches you in the face, and you lose control of everything, and you got to get back on track, and you got to reteach yourself everything that you thought you already knew, and, get it under control. Now I think I do have it under control. I've moved 10 hours away from where I was in a completely different situation. I've been able to continue my, weight loss and continue my fitness, and still haven't lost any progress.
I love that. That's awesome. So the people who are upset that they don't lose like that pound per week, like you literally lost 25 pounds in 16 months.
Yeah.
So like, that's a slow grind, man. Like, I love the fact that you said you didn't put a time limit on it, because like a client who is like expecting those results, they have these expectations of like half a pound to a pound per week or 2 pounds per week. And it's like the slower you go, the more chance you have of keeping it off. And that's such a hard thing to like come to terms with. So how did you make peace with that? Like, how did you come to terms with that?
So a lot of it came down to, it was a lot of peaks and valleys. So it came up, I lost a lot of, like maybe I'd lose 5 pounds or 6 pounds, in like 2 months. And then I would stay at that weight consistently. And then I would just notice, I'd be like, okay, maybe what else is something else I can improve on? What's something I can switch? I know at some point, if I keep doing this, keep tracking my calories, okay, I'm in a deficit. It's going to come off eventually. And it does. I think that pound and a half, a pound and a half per week is an average, but there's going to be times where your body's just going to maintain. You don't really have to change anything up. Eventually it'll come back down again. It's just your body kind of gets used to that environment that it's in. It doesn't want to lose weight. Your body does not want to lose weight. We're still out there trying to hunt for our food and gather in our body's mind, even though, we can go down the street and find about 500 different options for food right now at our fingertips. So,
yeah, I love that, man. That's awesome. Our minds are still in the hunter-gatherer mode. That's so cool. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So so to somebody who's like really, really struggling with like not seeing those results, like how many times did you drop your calories in 16 months? Like how many times did you drop them?
So I actually only tracked for probably about like 6 months of it. So like their first like 6 months, and then the pandemic hit in like March, and I stopped tracking calories. Because I was home all the time, and it wasn't like, I was like, okay, let me see if I can take a break. There was enough stress in my life, from now having to switch everything that I was doing and having to do it remotely. So I was like, okay, I'm going to stop tracking. And then I was actually able to cook. Like, I love to cook, I like you said, I'm from an Italian family. So like cooking's always been a big thing for me. So I just like dove into cooking like head first. And so like I made everything that I could, and everything was fresh. And so I was like, I'm not worried about my calories right now. I'm just going to, focus on getting more veggies and seeing if I can maintain without tracking any more. And I did. I was able to maintain. I didn't gain a single pound over the pandemic. So obviously things were working out the way, and I felt great. So I was like, why do I need to, track right now? If I don't have any goals for any more weight loss, let's just keep it consistent. I know what I need to eat. And if I feel like I'm, want to hone in and get leaner, I'll track again.
What kind of stuff were you making?
So I like to change it up. I like a little bit of everything. Obviously, like the Italian dishes are go-tos. Like I can Italian dishes are like the back of my hand. I can do that inside and out. I like a lot of Asian food. I love cooking Asian food. I think that's great. I love trying to find like healthier versions of the foods that, we all know and love. Like I have a lighter General Tso's chicken. That's amazing. It tastes exactly like you would outside of a Chinese restaurant, just half the calories, not fried and everything like that. I love making pizza. Pizza's like one of my favorite things. So I experimented a lot making my own dough and, making fresh pizzas, for me and my wife. And so I like to just experiment. I like to try anything. I'm always down to try new recipes and, try to find like those, like, I like to have like a base. I think that like everyone should have like a base of foods that they like can go to. So I like to have like 10 to 15 recipes that are like, okay, like these are like, we can choose from these, and then maybe add a new one every once in a while just to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you, there's a guy on YouTube. He's a pretty small channel. His name's Mina, Mina. And he does these like anabolic recipes or whatever. And dude, he makes this pizza dough using 00 flour. It's like super fine, white flour.
Yeah.
The way he makes it, it's like super low calorie, and it's supposed to be just like New York style crust. So I've been like, I've been dying to make it. I'll send you the recipe, but
yeah, send it to me. I'm always down to try that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, because it's hard to find people who actually like to cook. Like, you know, usually in the fitness space, people are like, oh, I just eat like, you know, pre-prepped, like frozen protein and like, you know, my bag of broccoli. It's like, dude, I could not stick with this thing if I wasn't eating actually tasty food.
Oh, yeah.
So
I agree. That's why I created a whole cookbook for my clients specifically for that. I was like, I wanted to find recipes that were simple because I know not everyone's like us. I've talked to nutritionists who talk about food all their life and they don't like to cook. And I'm like, well, let's make this simple. I think if it's simple, you're more likely to try to do it. So, because my wife hates to cook. So I'm like, okay, here's a simple recipe. If you can do this, like that's as simple as it needs to be. I like a lot of like one pan recipes. I've been trying to find a lot of those. Something like, okay, if you have one pan, like you don't have to complain about doing, 17 dishes. Cause I know I do that when I cook. I don't know if you're like that. I like make the whole kitchen dirty somehow. I need like 17 pans and, a bunch of spoons, I'm like, how did I get all this stuff?
Nah, come on, John. I'm classically trained, man. You know, I don't leave a mess.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the worst. I'm the worst.
No, I think for me, like, I feel you because I see other people cook and I'm just like, oh God, they're going to have to do so many dishes. But like, for me, I think like, I'm just so used to like the kitchen mentality of like cleaning as you go.
Oh yeah.
And so that's for me, like I prep everything and then I like have all the stages and everything's so easy for me because I've been a line cook since I was 16, and so all that experience, it translates into just being able to whip up these really easy, quick recipes. And sometimes I get lazy, man. Like a lot of times I do the one tray meals or like right now, air fryer is like my best friend. Like, if you don't have an air fryer, like what are you doing with your life? Like like, that's the biggest key that came out of 2020 for me was like, everybody should have an air fryer. And I have a cookbook as well. I'm working on it. It's all 5 ingredient meals, 5 ingredients or less. So
and send that over to me once you get that. That sounds awesome.
$29.95. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm creating it and I'm realizing like, dude, I use my air fryer way more than I use anything else. So I'm going to have like a whole section of just air fryer recipes.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I know my mother-in-law loves her air fryer. She uses it all the time here and it's great. I have one at home. I don't use it nearly as much as I probably should. That's just because I like to cook. I like to cook, like I haven't figured out the air fryer just yet. New tool takes time to learn.
At least the least you can do is throw some potatoes, like just cut potato wedges and throw them in there and like throw them in there for like on like 350 for like 15-20 minutes and you'll have like these perfect crispy potato wedges and you can hit them with a little like cooking spray or whatever, like you could toss them in some olive oil if you're not worried about the fat, but they just come out so good. It something about the way that the air flows inside that thing is so much better than putting them on a sheet tray.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great tip. I'm definitely gonna have to try that out. That sounds so good right now. It's about dinner time here, so I'm starting to get a little hungry. That's starting to make me hungry right there. So
hey man,
what were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say, man. Hey, it's only 2:00 over here, so it's I got a little while before dinner.
Yeah, you're just getting done with lunch over there. I'm getting started over here with dinner. So it is like having you on here. It is the beginning of the year, so obviously, what else are we going to talk about? But then 2021 goals out here. So like, kind of getting into like it's the beginning of the year. Everyone's getting after trying to get their goals, even if they quit after the first 6 weeks, which is not what we like to see. But how do how do people go from, you know, how they go every year, quitting after those first, 6 to 8 weeks to actually making those results last? How can they make 2021 different?
Yeah, I think people have a skewed relationship with goal setting.
Yeah.
So for me, like in the past, I have these outcome based goals. Like I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to make, you know, 30 grand in my business this year. Like I want to do, not that don't worry about how much money I'm making, but, but like I have these outcome based goals, right? And it's like, those are great, but how the hell do you measure those? It doesn't, when you think about goals, like, and you think about action based goals versus outcome based goals. Outcome is I want to lose 40 pounds. Action is I'm going to eat 3 servings of vegetables a day. I'm going to have 3 bottles of water and 1 big salad a day and make sure I eat plenty of protein. Like those are action-based goals that you can take every single day. And then outcome-based goals you're less likely to stick with them because you don't have like the specifics of how you're going to reach that goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when people think about goal setting, like I'll use myself for example this year, like people write down 50 goals that they want to accomplish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when I started writing down my goals for 2021, it was like I had so many things that I wanted to focus on. I'm like, oh man, but I need to get a podcast out every week. I need to load up a YouTube once a month. I need to write an article every couple of weeks for my website. And I need to post on Instagram 3 times a day. And I need to post on TikTok once a day. And it's just like, dude, that's way too much for me. Like, because I'm going to fail at one of those. Yeah. I'm going to fail at one of those. And then what about my personal health? I'm like, well, I also want to like put on some muscle this year. And I also want to, and then so I had all these personal goals. I had all these business goals. I had all these mindset goals and like books that I want to read and like all this stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like maybe this will be the one year that I just focus on one thing. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. And I haven't come up with the one thing that I want to think about, but I did think about like how everyone's doing like a word, like a 1-word theme for the year. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen that from a few people. Yeah. So like some people are like perseverance, like grit. And it's like, you like, I don't know. People have these cheesy ones, dude. Yeah. But for me, like 2020 was a year that was like, it was very me based. Like I was very much about like building my business, making sure my fitness was getting better, like making sure that like I was setting myself up for success. It was very like Jeff based. Yeah. And I want 2021 to be more about giving and about just give and not worry about receiving. So 2021 for me is a year of service. So 2021, my word for the year is service. That's what I'm focusing on. However, I can provide that service, and not service in terms of like money, but service in terms of just helping people. Yeah. So that's what my main focus is for 2021. And maybe, if you're listening out there, like maybe finding one word that you want to focus on for this year and just like figuring out what small actions you can take on a daily basis to do more service or to persevere through whatever you got going on. Like whatever it is, take small actions and make it an action-based goal. Don't worry about the outcomes, because things like how much money you make or how much weight you're going to lose, those are very much out of our control. Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, they just are. So like when you don't lose 40 pounds in the next year, you're going to feel like you failed. But if you make it an action-based goal that's like, I'm going to track calories for like 80% of the next 6 months. Like that's very trackable. Like MyFitnessPal will even tell you how many days you tracked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think that's great. I think switching from that outcome based to that results, to that outcome, to that action is super strong. I think you take that control back. Instead of focusing in on that results, you take control, and the only one who decides whether you are successful with that goal is you. You decide if you can take that action or not. You are the only one who can drink that bottle of water. You're the only one who can decide to track your calories, to work out. So it kind of gives you that control over it, because I think too that lives. Oh, we can blame whatever we want for not achieving that 40 pounds, but we can't blame anybody for not drinking water every day. The only person we can blame is ourselves, because we didn't set ourselves up for success that way.
Yeah. I'm the only one to blame if I don't reach these goals. If if it's outcome based, you could be like, well, like I hear a lot of people right now, they're making excuses that they're like, well, I'm not working out right now because gyms are closed and equipment is super expensive, and I just don't like working out alone, or just whatever excuses people have. I can tell you right now that if you just fucking get rid of them and you just say, I'm just going to go walk for 20 minutes a day. Like maybe like that's all you fucking need in order to get yourself into the habit of doing it and getting motivated. Just move your body. Like you don't have to have some crazy workout routine that's like progressive overload. And I need to go make sure I'm like, getting stronger each week. Like if you have the funds to get weights and you want a home gym set up, that's great. But 90% of people are not there right now. And they're just looking to like not like completely damage their health. And it's like people are still making excuses when literally all you need to do is walk.
Yeah. I think that's super true. I think there's so many underrated ways to, make yourself healthy, whether that's through fitness, nutrition, that people, I think they automatically jump to, lifting 4 times a week and, going keto and vegan. They dumped right into the deep end. They drown. And it's like, well, no, you haven't learned how to swim yet. Maybe start going for walks a little bit more. Maybe, maybe do some body weight training at home, a couple exercises, maybe, some stretching. Maybe you're not even ready to move your body yet because your muscles are so tight because you sit all day, every day. Maybe just start drinking water and, having a vegetable a day because you're not eating any, a salad a day. It doesn't have to be, rocket science to see progress.
Yeah. People want to go from, eating McDonald's 4 times a week to, making a kale chia seed smoothie that they don't even enjoy. And it's like, dude, like find some balance in between those two. Like you don't have to choke down a kale chia seed smoothie in order to make progress. Like that's not like #health. Like, like you don't have to like just ultimately jump into like doing a juice fast just because like you've been treating your body like shit for the last 10 years. Like slowly transition, like John said, into drinking a little more water, going on some walks. Like I have a client who has never strength trained before, and she started working with me during the pandemic, and she is literally this entire time she has done 50 push-ups and 50 body weight squats every single day. And
there you go.
I'm like, and I'm like trying to like, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish she would like, incorporate a little bit of this or incorporate it, but that's all she wants to do. And I'm like, you know what? The consistency of her being able to do that for the last like 6 months is amazing. Huge. Like she's just been so consistent, and she's dropped tons of weight. She's dropped like 7 pant sizes. And she's her muscles are popping. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she's killing it.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be complicated to see progress. Like, I think that's
you only need to make it as complicated as you want it to be. Like a life model of mine is it's mostly in the gray. It's not black, it's not white, it's in the gray. Most of everything that we do lives in the middle, not on one side, left or right. It's in the middle. That's where most things are going to lie. And I that's just like my philosophy with fitness. Like I don't do anything crazy here. I don't work out 7 days a week. I don't, have some crazy diet, just because I'm lean doesn't mean I have to, be on something crazy. I eat like a normal person. There's nothing special to what I do. There's no like supplement. There's no magic pill I take that's like, this is how you lose weight. I think that's what I think some people come to, coaches expecting that, like magic little pill. And it's like, we don't have it. Trust me. I think if we had it, we'd all be out of business right now. And some person would be a trillionaire, like that's just.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Somebody asked me today, it was actually a good, like childhood friend of mine who he's put on quite a bit of weight. And he's like, as if he hasn't been watching my content for like the last 2 years, he goes, messaged me and goes, what do you think of apple cider vinegar? And I'm like, are you serious, dude? And I was like, for what?
For cooking?
He's like, because I was like, well, he might be like, I don't know, because it does have like digestive benefits maybe, but like there are other things you can take for digestion than apple cider vinegar. That shit is terrible. It rots your teeth. And he's like, well, for weight loss. And I was like, well, what are you eating? And he's like, well, dude, I'm trying not to drink soda every day. I'm like, well, just start with that. Like, just start with switching out your soda for something else, like water, or every now and then you can have some diet soda, or like, some sparkling water, whatever. Just just swap some of those sodas out for some low calorie or 0 calorie beverages, and the weight will start dropping. I'm telling you. And he was like, well, I'm thinking about doing keto. And I was like, dude, don't go down that rabbit hole. Like, you don't need to do keto. You'd be very surprised at how little you actually need to change for somebody who is a little more overweight for them to make some serious progress.
Yeah.
So
those simple changes is huge. And that was what that whole transformation was about for me. It was just like, what simple things? I honestly feel like I haven't changed much of anything, but I've made dramatic progress. I think that's what it comes down to. You see, I think sometimes we forget on Instagram, like how do all these people live everyday life? I think a lot of people post like their healthy meals, or like, like the healthiest Instagram worthy meals, but don't post the other ones in between when they're, going out to dinner to like, get that burger and fries or whatever it may be. But it's like they're really eating like that sometimes. You just don't know it.
Mm-hmm. You're seeing everybody's highlight reel.
Yeah.
And that's the most toxic part of social media, is we're comparing our everyday life to someone else's highlight reel. And it's just not fair. Like, it's just not fair to compare like my everyday average life to what, six-pack Brett wants to post on IG. Like, you don't know his story. You don't know. Maybe he's been training for the last 15 years, and maybe he's been tracking calories for the last 10 years. Maybe maybe he's on steroids, which is like nowadays it's like TRT and HRT is very, very common. So a lot of these Instagram models and trainers that you follow that have these amazing physiques, guess what? They're on gear. So, and I'm not saying that it's not like that totally diminishes all the hard work they put in, because like you still got to put in the work. You can take steroids, just not make those huge transformations, but steroids and genetics, those two right there, if you already have the genetics and then you take steroids, like, you're going to be an absolute animal, like a freak. You're going to be a freak that like, and so a lot of people use that to market their products and services or coaching online. And we're seeing those highlight reels. We're seeing those people who they play the game. And so average everyday people like me, like you, other coaches that are like, look, we're just normal people. Like, we're not going to have, hundreds of thousands of followers anytime soon. Like we're just in it because we genuinely want to help people. It's not about how many followers we can get or how many, people share our posts or any of that bullshit. It's like, how many people can I genuinely care and help in 2021? That's my biggest goal. It's not how many followers I can get or how many views my stories get or whatever. Like my head likes to play these games. Like, oh, this person's getting more views on their IGTV. Like, dude, that is it's such bullshit. Like, how many people are you helping with your content?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. I think at the end of the day, kindness always wins. I follow Gary Vee, and that's what he always preaches. And I full-heartedly believe that if, you're kind to people and you give and you give and you give, people are going to give right back to you. People give to people want to give to those people that they feel are kind and they like them. If people don't like you, if you're mean to them, if you're nasty to them and always asking for something, they're going to be less likely to give it to you unless your product is amazing, which all of our products are amazing, but it's all the same. So they're going to go to the person they like and they, who gives them the most.
You don't pay for coaching, you pay for the coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
What a lot of us
I'm going to give you the same. I'm going to give you the same training program John's going to give you. I'm going to give you the same nutrition plan that John's going to give you. But our coaching styles are going to be probably very different.
Yeah. Exactly. You got to go to the people, the person that's going to reach you in the right way. And not everyone learns the same way. Not everyone, needs the same style or the same accountability or the same, everyone can have the same problem, but 5 people can explain it 5 different ways and only one of them will make sense to you. You got to find that one person that it just clicks in your head, the way they say it, the words they say and everything like that just clicks with you.
Which is why Gary Vee, like you were talking about him, like his content, it cuts through a lot of other people's content because he has like this very niche group of people that he's like, boom, I'm right here. I'm talking to you. Like I'm looking at you and my content is for you looking at me in this computer. Like I'm talking to you. And when he talks to the screen, like I'm like, holy shit, this guy's talking to me. Like he's saying exactly what I need to hear right now. You know what I mean? So,
exactly. I feel the same exact way. I have him on on his texting thing. So I get his text messages and I forget like months ago, he sent out a text message and I was like, how did he know that right now at this moment I needed to hear this, or that it was just so relevant to what I was going on in my life? It was creepy. I was like, I showed my wife, I was like, Gary Vee just sent this text message out. How relevant is this to our situation right now? And she's like, this is spot on. Like, let's go. Like, this is why we're here. So I agree with you. It's you got to find the right people that, surround yourself with those right voices and things like that. I know I, over the years, have unfollowed so many people on Instagram just because I feel the same way. I got in that mindset of, that toxic relationship where I was like, oh man, look how many followers they have. Look at that. Oh, they only have that because they look good in that bathing suit, or, they're posting shirtless pictures of themselves or whatever irrational stuff I was coming up with, because, they were great coaches too. Like there was nothing. It was just like your own insecurities of yourself, coming out at you. And I was like, no matter how great their content is, if it makes you think that way, I cut it out or unfollow them or just, mute their stuff so I don't see it anymore. And so you got to set yourself up with, just like fitness and nutrition and social media, you got to regulate it. You got to, go to the things that, make the most sense for you mentally and physically, you know?
I think being a content creator it's so much more fun than
Yeah.
being a content consumer.
Oh,
Like
100%.
like I always knew that I was going to create content in some way, shape, or form, and I just needed to find out what that was. And I always knew that I wanted to help people, and I was always passionate about nutrition. I've made so many damn mistakes in my own business, in my own fitness, in my own personal life, right? Like I have made so many mistakes that the only way that I can teach people is to go through those mistakes myself.
Yeah.
So that's literally my whole thing. And like the name of my podcast is Progress Not Perfection. Like
There you go.
because like that is exactly my life is about making small progress, not perfection. Being perfect is what ended me up in jail. Being perfect is what ended me up, you know, in a very dark place. Being perfect is what ended me up with a messed up metabolism and hormones and feeling like shit, right? So progress is what I strive for now. So 2021 for me is about making small progress each year. And Jordan says this. He says you're going to overestimate what you can do in a year, but you're going to underestimate what you can do in 7.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And I love
I
that.
think that's something he picked up from Gary. I feel like I've heard Gary say that too. Probably from Coach Gary. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's good shit. It's good shit either way.
Agree. I agree with you. I'm just like what you said, you just created your goals for this year. I learned that lesson last year where I had this list. I have it in my book. And I look at it. There's like 8 things on it that I wanted to do by the end of the year. And, you know, obviously because of the pandemic, I didn't get half of them, or I changed my goals completely. And I was like, this year I like brain dumped everything on a page. I was like, what do I want to accomplish in 2021? I just wrote down everything. Like, what could I do? And I was like, I circled 3 things. I was like, these are the 3 things. And then these are like maybe some things if I achieve these 3, you know, before the end of the year, or if I decide to change things up, you know, I'm going to focus on these 3 things, and the rest is going to be the rest. Like this podcast, this is my thing. This is what I'm going to do this year. I love podcasting, you know, it helps me with everything else. So why not keep growing it? Why not keep consistent with that? And, you know, let the rest go where the rest goes and make that up as it goes, but keep consistent with at least one thing here.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I love that.
Yeah. So awesome, man. So where can everyone find you on Instagram, on the internet?
On the interwebs.
Yeah.
So my IG handle is at Jeffrey Pachtman, Jeffrey, and then Pachtman is spelled Pachtman. And that's pretty much the same on YouTube, TikTok, all that. So that's it.
Awesome, man. I'll throw that up in the show notes, everyone. So if you want to check out Jeff, check out his content. It's pretty fire. So check it out. You know, he's always got some good stuff posting up. So I'll throw that down there. Man, it was great having you. Thanks for coming on such short notice. I really enjoyed our conversation. I really think a lot of people are going to get a lot of great things. And I can't wait to see what you're going to be given this year and watch you grow in 2021, man.
Likewise, brother. Hey, I got to have you on my show soon. So I'll be in touch, and I'm going to send you that pizza recipe. So let me know if you make it.
Dude, sounds great. Definitely, man. You have a great day.
All right, brother. You too. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Simply Fitness podcast. Because you listened to this episode, I want to give you something away for free. In the show notes, I have a link to my free fat loss cookbook. This cookbook contains over 20 recipes that are specifically designed to help you lose weight. They are filled with protein, they are simple to make, and they take away that bland, boring diet food. So if you want to upgrade your diet today, go to the show notes, click on the link, and go get your free fat loss cookbook. And make sure you come back for more episodes of the Simply Fitness podcast.